Back More Titans, this is episode 7 of season 3. Very excited as always to carry on and see what's going to be happening next with the season. Sorry this is a few days later, I've been a bit busy, so I haven't been able to record anything for a few days. So I've been eagerly anticipating this one, staying away from spoilers and stuff. So I'm excited. Last episode we had some flashbacks with Dick and Barbara, just establishing a bit more about what their relationship was like, and the tension that there's still between them in present day. Blackfire being very confident and kind of getting involved in Titan's business, so I'm wondering if that's going to be more of a thing that they get explored with. Maybe something with her and Connor going on, I'm not sure. We'll see. Scarecrow doing his usual shenanigans, and Jason kind of stepping away from that a bit, being a bit, what's the word? I don't know, but he kind of went against orders, really, and got the new drug out there, and that has potentially led to Tim Drake's life never being the same again, but I think that's going to start him obviously on the path to being Robin at some point, whether it's this season or next season, years to come, who knows, but it was good to bring him back into the fold. Not good in terms of exactly how they did that, I guess, because I think his dad's bleeding out on the floor, but you know, it's cool to see that now at this point in the season, we're about halfway through, that he's going to get some focus at some point as well. So yes, things are happening. I'm excited to see what they're going to do next, what they're going to focus on next, so let's just dive into the next one.
3 attacks already tonight. A dozen killed. Twice that many injured. None of the attackers have any history of violence.
Oh dear.
Just regular folk went berserk.
What the fuck is that?
Uh-oh.
You're not mad I stole your stash?
Nah, it's all good, man. This new machine, I got plenty.
I thought you might be pissed.
Uh-oh. I think he was angry at you.
I've always wanted to help Gotham. That was my plan 2 years ago when the Batman disrupted it. And now I can finally see my plans come to fruition.
Weird way of helping, buddy.
It's turning people into violent psychopaths.
That's what I did with Jason.
Jason's gone. He's Red Hood now. It's time we all accept what he is. Now Crane has the multiplier.
But surely
producing this drug.
he realises, like, clearly Jason's being hit by that gas as well, though.
Imagine.
There's another computer at the GCPD does this sort of thing. Fit better hardware.
Why haven't we been using it?
Because it's illegal.
Well, if we're breaking.
I mean, actually, I've never done illegal things before.
We need something that can see a little deeper.
Oracle.
Don't even ask.
Oracle's our only hope. You didn't get rid of it, did you? Why not?
That's true.
Is there anything I can do for you, Mr. Gregson?
I recognise that voice. Who is that?
Would you like to search?
Got Oracle staring into my soul.
Yes. Hey, Connor, 6328 Voluntary Avenue. Meet me there.
Oh my god. He's actually asking people to help him on missions? What's going on?
Sit back and watch as the Titans destroy themselves.
Doesn't sound great. I feel like Jason's a bit too impulsive for patience, to be honest.
You never asked me why I did it. I know why. Really? Yeah, power. They had it, you took it. Simple as that. Yeah, I wish it was. If your choice was 51% good and 49% bad, then you take it. I hope you reminded him of that while you were killing him. Can I offer you ladies a drink? Oh, hope you realize you're trespassing. I should call the authorities. I feel unsafe. I'm not your enemy. Not today.
And like the Blackfire's gone for the drink.
I need you to bring something back to me that I lost. Something personal.
It's covered in lead. I can't see through.
Alright, knuckle up. You take the right side.
You probably know that you're coming then.
Oh, shit.
Oh, this song and dance again.
It'll be okay. Defuse it. It's been modified. I can't defuse it. Did you have to go?
Oh no.
It was a setup.
That's impossible.
Hello, Commissioner.
Oh dear.
He got it, but he got it. We can use this.
Use?
I wonder if the voice I recognised was his.
Even the Batman needed the Oracle to defeat me. They had one weapon, and now...
Yeah, learning from his mistakes.
You made them destroy.
I know she's no saint, but she's your mother. There's no running away from that. Look, we are...
I mean, he's been doing a damn fine job of it by the looks of it.
We don't want it. Please.
She's got one of those voices that I'd listen to, you know? I'd go wherever she damn well told me.
Jason, how do I find you?
Yeah, butthead, figure me out.
I love that he still cares. That's cool. They have the budget for tiger sniffing.
I don't need you to protect me, okay? Be stronger than that.
Excuse me?
Your fear of this machine cost us the one.
Alright, Bruce, calm down.
Crane isn't smarter than both of us combined. So we go analog. We think. Unless you want to be emotional about it.
This is where she kills him for running away. No loose ends, Michael.
I only came because Starfire.
What a surprise.
Fuck. Sorry, Michael.
I promised him he would be safe.
He wasn't. Was this 51% good?
I'm not only a type.
Burn her.
I'm a queen.
Oh shit! Maybe 49%. I got information first, but...
That rage you feel right now? I felt that the day I killed our parents.
She loves bringing that up, didn't she?
Time to tell you why.
I'd kind of keep that on the down, though.
Why was their beloved Starfire not returning to rule? So they blamed me. They saw a way to restore peace.
By killing you.
And maintain power. All they had to do was sacrifice their lesser daughter.
Well, let's hope that's true.
We'll have to check every building.
Let's go.
Wait,
Oh,
What?
love a good countdown.
we have a new problem.
Freon.
Thank you. That help narrow it down?
Freon. Air conditioning cool.
Victor. Victor who?
Victor.
Freeze? Oh.
Exactly where Crane is. What are those?
Oh.
A bit of Tamaranian technology.
Same. Huh.
Gandaksa of...
You, you look good.
That's me trying to compliment anyone. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow.
It's a new day.
He's eating the ice cream.
You don't have to
I
fix
would.
yourself.
He's here.
What?
Whoopsie. Oh, damn. Yes! I love team fights.
No.
Being like 3 steps ahead of them all the time, it's just more chance to give them clues.
No. No, this is all wrong.
Well,
No.
oh, what was that? Oh, oh, that's something. I hope we get a new animal soon. Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Earth can be fun.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you get for shooting a dog.
I'm wondering what other skills you have.
I'll have to show you sometime.
Oh my.
I'll get him back. I always get him back.
Yeah, in 2 years you're gonna get them good. I like that they actually had a victory for a change, you know? It's a nice change of pace.
Good work. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
I love scenes like these.
Congratulations. I'm gonna hit the road. This might sound insane, but I am dying for some ice cream.
Did anyone think to grab some when we were at Snowy Cones?
Maybe DoorDash. A couple gallons of Rocky Road.
That can be DoorDash.
That's true.
Thanks, Connor.
She was hoping you'd follow.
You didn't want to leave, did you?
He did not.
Because I know what you do.
You're gonna give me a chance to answer.
Here we go again.
Guess I'll take that second beer now.
Beers might have to wait a minute.
Only a minute, oh buddy.
3 a.m. Who the fuck are you?
Hi. Molly? I'm Darla.
Oh, is this his friend?
You might know me from the Titans.
Ah. Okay. Okay, another really good episode. Where do we begin? I mean, probably the whole Dick and Barbara situation. They've kind of been, you know, leading to that moment, I think, where they would reconcile romantically. Is it going to last? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I do like the characters together just in general, so I'm excited to see how they may explore that relationship in Titans, because things had been strained since the premiere. But it's sweet in a way that they found their way back to each other like that. And in terms of timing, I guess it makes sense narrative-wise that this would be happening just as we got flashbacks to how it was with them in the last episode. So, you know, they've clearly timed it right with that. But, you know, they're superheroes. Can anyone actually stay together with anyone for that long? I'm not sure. But I'm excited to see what they do with that relationship for the time being. Where it may or may not lead and where it may go. Is anything going to split them apart? Is she just going to like become like Oracle on the Titans or something? That would be an interesting direction for her to take. But I think they probably are going to stick with her being the commissioner. I'd be very surprised if, you know, this pairing continues past this season, quite frankly. But you never know. So I do love this show's iteration of Barbara, so I would like to see her stick around, even just like a team member. I think that'd be really cool. But I do like that they brought her into the show, and you know, it's an expansion onto Dick's past, really, without having to have Bruce around as well. So obviously he's God knows where. So it's nice for him to kind of lean into some of his past a bit more, and it makes sense for him to, I think, feel nostalgic for his past when he's back at Gotham, because, you know, he spent a lot of years here growing up. So I think he is going to lean more into that side of things. But, you know, I think the Gotham residence for the Titans is probably just going to be this season, really. I think it's going to be more so knowing that it's probably unhealthy to just live there. I don't know why anyone lives in Gotham for that long, to be honest. Once they realise how bad it is, you should probably get out of there. But I think the way Bruce raised his kids and, you know, how he influenced Barbara to an extent as well, I think he kind of, like Crane gets Jason and everyone hooked on his drug, I feel like Bruce just gets his children or his partners, whatever, hooked on Gotham. And that's an addiction. None of them are broken. Obviously, even Dick's found his way back there now, which is an interesting kind of concept to explore. So yeah, I was kind of guessing that those two would get it on again at some point, and they do have some sweet moments. I think the actors do have the chemistry. So what they choose to do with it, I am on board for. I still think, you know, Dick and Corey is where it should end, I think, ultimately. But I'm not against them exploring this pairing right now. I think Dick is in the frame of mind right now with everything that's gone on to be with Barbara, I would say, in terms of like where his character is, how the story's going. So I'm intrigued to see where that's going to go. But I did like them actually actively trying to work together a lot more in this one. And they did manage to outsmart Crane in the end and go to the ice cream place. That was funny. I did like that the Titans got a win, and we had like a nice little scene of them just like celebrating, having drinks. I wish we got more of that. It's good to have like that team dynamic. And they've been through some shit recently, losing Jason coming back, losing Hank, and Dawn going God knows where. Rachel and Donna, still barely a sign of them. No sign at all of Rachel, hopefully very soon. Because we're not going to get much of them this season as it is, since this is episode 7, so I'm hoping they will show up soon. If I'm hearing correctly, I think episode 9 is going to be like their big episode where they come back into it, so I'm excited for that. But I'll have to wait and see. I'm happy for it to be next week as well. But yeah, I did like that the Titans just got a win. I love the scene of them all taking out the people and Crane just being like, no, this is wrong, no. But I'm like, buddy, you know, if you get too far ahead of yourself in your plans, it's just more opportunities for them to work out what you're doing, you know? You need to keep things close to your chest, but he's trying to, like, get too much of a lead of them, I guess, because he just thinks he's so brilliant and clever. But I liked the idea, like Barbara was saying, that the two of them together are smarter than Crane. They don't need Oracle, per se. They can work things out on their own. And they did, so I like how that was tied in together and how they're working things through like that. Getting Connor involved in some investigation was nice. Dick actually getting the other Titans involved in his missions, not just going off on his own. That was all really good, and yeah, I loved the group fight scene. And Blackfire's on board as well, so we'll see how long that lasts. Hopefully that's just going to be a permanent thing, because I really like Blackfire. But yeah, it was cool to see them working things out with Crane. Equally, I think Crane did have some good moments, like when he knocked Jason out, like tricked him with the drug, just desperately trying to control him, when he went to convince all their partners, you know, the mob bosses and stuff, that he is the guy in charge, and they will still kind of benefit from partnering with him, and in fact it's all part of his crazy plan. I don't know if chaos is really a plan though, is it? By its very nature, I don't think chaos is planned, but, you know, that's... take it up with Heath Ledger's Joker, I guess, because chaos was always his plan, wasn't it? So yeah, I did like those moments as well, and how he managed to get them to shut Oracle down themselves, and that was like the one thing that they could really use to stop him. But again, he underestimated how clever they were even without Oracle. But I thought that was quite neat, him trying to install those lessons onto Jason. And the idea that just be patient, wait for them to destroy themselves. Sometimes that's the best way of doing it. That's the absolute certainty of patience. But I think Jason's a bit too impulsive to do that. So maybe that's going to be why I think that connection will ultimately break down. And they really showcased, I think, in this one, you know, how the drugs just properly influence people to act completely unlike themselves. They were talking about some of the people that had attacked others had no criminal records or any kind of incidents with police in the past. It's clearly coming from, you know, this new toxin that Scarecrow's come up with. And that's what he's been feeding Jason with, I think, as well. So he's not entirely in control of his actions. So I think there's still some room to negotiate a redemption there. Because when everything with Hank happened and stuff, you know, I don't think that was Jason as the influence or whatever the hell that was. And you can see how reliant it was on it, even in this one, when he took the thing, not even double checking that, like, this is a slightly different colour. Oh dear, I made a dumb mistake. He's just so kind of, it's so ingrained in him now to just have that. And I think that's such an addiction. That it doesn't even matter, as long as something's there that he can try and rely on to make the fears go away. He's just built up a bit too much trust there, and I guess that is a clever way of Scarecrow bringing Jason back, in a way, because of course Jason's just going to trust the guy that brought him back to life, because otherwise, you know, why wouldn't you just leave me dead? So I think there's going to be an odd kind of fondness, I guess, that he needs to have for Crane, because he'd still be dead without him. So there's an interesting thing there, but also by his nature and how he is, he still went a bit rogue and passed the drug around, and he seems to want a reaction from Crane, which I found quite interesting when he came back and like, oh, I thought he'd be angry. He kept bringing that point up, like, well, I went rogue, I went against your wishes and stuff. And I think obviously Crane was a bit pissed off, and he got his own back in his own way, and he's like, right, you need to put a saddle on you here, I need to put you on a leash, before I need to teach you a few more lessons before you can go back out as Red Hood again. But it just feels like, again, Jason just wants some attention. He wants to be noticed and loved, even by Crane. But I think some of that can come from the drugs that he's been, you know, given. and the fact that this guy was the one who brought him back to life. So it's a very twisted sense of loyalty, but also a sense of I don't belong here in Jason that I'm sure he's battling, and I think that's quite an interesting idea. So I'm excited to see a bit more of that pairing, especially now they've kind of had this huge loss and they've lost all their production and stuff. What does Scarecrow do next? You know, he was pretty vexed at the end of that episode as they drove off. So I'm excited to see how they're going to try and bounce back from it. Hopefully they don't, and they can stop him easily. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Then we can just have like 3 or 4 episodes of them just partying, because I'd be alright with that, because I liked their little party scene. So yes, that was all very well and good, and I also liked that Gar still hasn't given up on Jason. I think he kind of knows. He had the chance to get to know Jason, I think, more than the adults did in like season 1 and 2, because they would spend a lot of their time together just hanging out because they're around the same age when, you know, Dick was off doing whatever it was he was doing, whenever Hank and Dawn were having some relationship issue or another, you know, Deathstroke shenanigans and stuff. They would train together, they'd hang out together, you know, with Rachel as well. So I think he probably got to see a lot of what Jason actually is like, and we saw that when he was investigating the room. He was like trying to do like a Jason impression, like, well, what would he say right now? And through that, and it's like, I like that they're advancing his abilities a bit. You know, he was looking up new animals he could be. He was using like tiger senses, I guess, and he had like a claw coming out during that fight. I feel like we're building up to him also adapting some new power sets, which I'm very excited for. But I liked that Gar still hasn't given up on that idea, and then through that he found out about Molly. They're probably going to team up now to try and win Jason back to the light side, which I'm very excited for. I like that Gar took the initiative to just go off on his own. I know we all berate Dick for doing that, but in this case Gar needs to do it, and because he hasn't really done that before, and it means screen time for the guy. You know, I'm all about that. Just give Gar his own episode, please. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Gar and Molly are going to do as a pairing. I think that could be an interesting mashup, and I was hoping we would see more of Molly. I think her name was Molly, wasn't it? Oh yeah, I wrote Molly a few episodes back, yeah. So bringing her back into it, I think, makes a lot of sense for the whole Jason story. So I'm glad that we are seeing more of her, and to see what her and Gar are going to try and do to save Jason's soul. No idea what they think they're going to be able to do, but I like that they are teaming up to try and work on something. Gar's unwavering loyalty to people. I guess in a way it's naive, but I do like that there was still someone trying to fight for Jason on the Titan side, because Dick was like, Jason's gone, you know, he's Red Hood now, and then the very next sentence he was like, oh, these people have, you know, been driven mad by this drug and they haven't had these convictions or anything before, they're completely different people, they're being manipulated. I'm like, well, why are you not saying exactly the same thing about Jason? Because that's probably true. Obviously not entirely, because I think Jason is a bit of a reckless asshole at times, isn't he? But I thought that was odd. But it's good that I think at least Gar is still trying to fight for Jason's soul. And if they realise that, okay, maybe Jason's too far gone, you know, they're not just saying like, oh, Jason definitely is going to be redeemed, because I don't know what they're ultimately going to do with Red Hood. But yeah, I like that we're having that team up. That should be cool to see how that goes. And then advancing Gar's powers a bit, showcasing a bit more of what he can do in this one. Gives me hope that we're going to get a huge development before the season's out, and like maybe a new animal for him, or just more of that kind of thing that, you know, the budget doesn't push, with like a paw or, you know, green tiger nostrils, for example. But yeah, I like that they're giving a bit to do with that. And if this does mean like a whole side story of his own, I'd be very happy with that. And then yeah, we got a bit more of the mob as well. The whole thing with the Valeska woman, Valeska. Was that a reference to Gotham? Was Jerome's surname Valeska in Gotham? Was that the same surname as this woman had in this one? Or did I just hear that wrong? I don't know. It's probably not a coincidence really if they're both like Batman things, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I actually like that they focused a bit more on that and revisited a thing with one of them actually just having their own life and seeing the shady business that they have going on outside of the Red Hood stuff, and Corey going to her. I like that she knows Dick enough to not try and drag him into it and try and convince him otherwise. Like, he's not going to get involved with, you know, mob people that like got his family killed and everything. So I like that she shows that understanding of him and his feelings, and that little team up to get her son back just for her to instantly kill the son because he was potentially selling her out. Brutal as hell. I enjoyed Corey's revenge on that woman, instant revenge, and there's that impulsiveness, I guess, again, and the emotion that went behind her just frying her instantly without getting the intel about Red Hood and stuff. But luckily they worked out regardless. And how they tied that into what was going on with Blackfire and her backstory, and like the fact that she killed her parents because it was self-defense, really. They would have killed her otherwise to try and restore some order. Everyone blamed her for Corey not coming back home. So I found that a cool thing in the fact that Blackfire said, oh no, you're absolutely right to just burn that old woman alive because, you know, that rage, that anger is what I felt when I had to defend myself and my own family. So I like that, and we got a bit more of an explanation and a bit of hinting of the backstory with the whole Tamarin thing, and, you know, the fact that Corey, you know, was sent to kill Rachel, I think, originally, and like kill Triangle and everything, which seems so long ago now, that whole thing. But she just ended up staying on Earth anyway when they wanted her back. So I think we got a bit more fleshing out of that, and their friendship slash sibling relationship, which they're building back up. Corey took a big step as well, kind of put that trust in her to give her like her own suit and stuff, and now she can use some ability. She was fighting with the Titans. I think that's quite cool. I expected her to just be a villain in this season. I thought it was going to be like Scarecrow and Blackfire were going to be two villains we had to deal with. But her actually being involved in the Titans and actually maybe joining them, I really like. Because whenever I've read some comics and stuff, I'm a big fan of the 2011 run of Red Hood and the Outlaws. That was kind of my first big introduction to those characters properly. I've always had a soft spot for that run. It wasn't perfect, it definitely lost its way near the end. But I liked the Red Hood, Starfire, Arsenal kind of trio. And particularly in that run, Corey and her sister got on quite well, and they actually had quite some nice moments between them. So the fact that we may be getting a bit more of that side of things, as opposed to it being an antagonistic thing in Titans, I'm very excited about, and thought her new suit looked cool. Connor was a big ass mood in that scene where he was like, oh, you look nice. I like how awkward he is around that. And hopefully Blackfire doesn't, you know, make any mistakes or go back on it and plays them all for whatever reason. I hope that's not going to be the case. I feel like she could just join the team and that would be it. So I like that we got a bit more of them building their relationship back up after how shattered it had been. Learning a bit more about how it was for Blackfire, why she actually killed Corey's parents and stuff, because that was a big thing that happened and they just like hadn't really talked about it up to this point, which was bizarre that it was taken so long to get to exactly like why she killed the parents. But I'm glad we got some answers with that, and it could be some stepping stones for a nice sister relationship between the two of them, hopefully. And I did like her fighting along with the Titan. She seems to fit in quite well. She was still making jokes and everything. She was hanging out with them at the end, so hopefully that is going to be something else they explore. And her and Connor are definitely going to have a thing going on, complementing each other quite significantly in this episode. They did have a bit of a bond in the last one, you know, a lot of similar things going on with them, so I guess that's going to be something that they explore. We'll see what they do with it. I don't really have any thoughts either way about it right now. It could be good for both their character developments. I'm also very aware that like Connor was like literally made last season. I'm a bit like, but we'll see. I think that could be a very interesting pairing if they do so explore that in a romantic way. So yeah, I'm willing to wait and see on what that may lead and where they're going to go with that. But yeah, I like that Connor also was helping out a bit with Dick, and he saw that bomb again, but they changed things up, and he kind of made the call to save Dick's life, and like it was too late. They've, you know, Crane is learning from his mistakes multiple times. We've seen that, but sometimes the Titans still just get one over on him. So how does he bounce back from that? That's all going to be cool. Very similar framing of the shot where the guy exploded and Connor was like caught in the explosion again, like it was with Hank. Him kind of having to live through that again, but I feel like he knew there's nothing he could have done in that moment then, whereas he, you know, if he'd had an extra second or so with Hank, he'd been able to do it. So hopefully that guilt isn't going to really carry over, and if it does, I'm sure he can talk to Blackfire about it, because yeah, that's happening. So yes, that was all interesting. I think the only other thing really is Oracle, and the fact that they properly had an Oracle in this, like weird like computery thing, felt very what's the name of it in X-Men that Charles uses that he plugs himself? Cerebro. It felt I got Cerebro vibes from it. I don't know how I feel about it just being like a computer thing rather than like Barbara just being like, I'm Oracle, hi. Maybe they'll merge that a bit ultimately. Maybe without that machine she'll be like, you know what, maybe I could call myself Oracle and do this and stuff and help you out. Because it basically like was the computer that Oracle, the person, could have used or whatever. So maybe that's where they're going to go with it. It's an interesting idea. I'm glad that's not just like going to be a permanent thing, like that is just Oracle. I'm hoping Barbara will just adopt that name at some point if she is going to stick around. But yeah, I like how they still were using it. It was just another thing to tie back to Dick and Barbara's past with Bruce and everything, so they can feel more nostalgic about each other and get the smoochies back on. It's all kind of bleeding into that. So it was an interesting idea, and Crane hacking and everything, forcing them to remove it, I thought was a cool kind of villainy thing for him to do. But I wouldn't want that to be like a big focus. So yeah, we had some cool stuff going on in this episode. I'm very excited to see where they go with a lot of it. Particularly Blackfire being on the team should be fun. How Jason and Crane are going to bounce back from their defeat in this one. I like that we actually had a win for the Titans and another big group fight scene. I'd like a lot more of those. Crypto, best boy, putting people in hospital. We love to see it. And I love the development with Gar, working things out to find Molly. Now those two hopefully will team up and try and save Jason's soul or whatever. So that could be a promise of a new story for him and actually give him a lot of screen time, which I'm here for. And yeah, Dick and Barbara are clearly back on. We'll see how they handle that relationship, what hurdles they'll have to overcome. I tried to say face and overcome at the same time, and I said overface, which I don't think is a word. So pick and choose whichever word you want, face or overcome. I said both of them. So yeah, exactly how they're going to explore that relationship I'm kind of intrigued by. And yeah, I'm very excited for a bit more. Hopefully we get some more stuff with Tim soon and his family. I was hoping we'd get a bit of that in this one, but we just saw that there were a lot of attacks going on, so it's more so focusing on the Titans, more so than the boy who hasn't joined the Titans yet. So that's probably fair. And of course Rachel and Donna, everything in Themyscira will hopefully be fairly soon. I mean, it's got to be sooner than later. We know they're in the season at some point, and we've got, what, 6 episodes left, I think? I think it's 13 this season. So, you know, we've got less than 2 months at least until we see them, so that's something. But yeah, another really great episode. As always, I am loving what this season's doing. I know it's not to everyone's taste, so I'm seeing more and more of that actually in recent weeks about the whole Bat family focus and stuff like that. And I do get it. I do feel bad for people that would want more Titans-y stuff. I don't mind the balance of it really. Especially if they're giving more stuff with like Corey and Blackfire having a bit of a story tying into it, Gar having a story tying into it. I think it will probably feel a bit more Titans-esque when we actually get to the Rachel and Donna stuff. But yeah, hopefully there are still a lot of people out there that are enjoying this season just as much as I am, because I really am loving it. But yeah, that's going to be everything for now, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.